Look at this poor little time pilot. So sad, all alone in the collection without any other Centuri cabinets to keep it company. Well, we're gonna have to do something about that. You know, as it turns out, my buddy and Overtime Arcade channel member, Jerry Voluptuous, just so happens to have another Centuri cabinet waiting for me to pick up in Philadelphia. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. And guys, this is really exciting. It's a Vanguard. Vanguard is an awesome game. It's got speech. It's got lots of really cool effects. I'm really excited to get this thing. And the cabinet looks beautiful. I don't think this thing's ever been touched. It's never been worked on. But I'm absolutely positive there's going to be some kind of surprises in store for us. Some weird things inside, you know, waiting for us to discover, like there always is. But yeah, in this episode, we're gonna pick up a game. We're gonna pick up a Vanguard from Jerry Voluptuous up in Philly. I'm really excited. You know, it feels like a long time since I've done a pickup video, but you know, I don't have to be the only one picking something up today. That's right, the Overtime Arcade official merchandise shop is always open. And guys, right now, we've got an incredible deal going on, 22% off everything in the Overtime Arcade official merchandise shop. Right now, it's going from this deal is from the 10th of November to the 13th, 2024. So November 10th to November 13th, 2024, 22% off everything in the Overtime Arcade official merchandise shop. Get yourself a hat, a t-shirt, a hoodie, a mug. We've got it all. 22% off everything November 10th through November 13th, 2024. But yeah, with that out of the way, why don't we head up to Philadelphia, go find Jerry, and grab this Vanguard. Let's go!
Overtime!
All right, and here it is, Vanguard. And boy, is this thing in nice condition. And yeah, please pay no attention to any of the other games in the background that are heretofore unannounced pickups as of the time of this recording. But man, I am so happy that Jerry Voluptuous, Overtime Arcade member Jerry Voluptuous, was able to grab this for me. I am really excited. This cabinet's in really nice shape. It is fully working, including the speech, and we'll be playing a little bit of this at the end of the video. The cabinet itself is just beautiful. You know, there's a couple things we need to do here and there. The whole thing could really use a nice cleaning, but that's pretty typical. We got to figure out what's going on with this hot glue or whatever on the coin door. You know, the buttons are a little bit dirty and sticky, and we'll, you know, make sure all the switches and everything are adjusted. This artwork is just phenomenal. There's a little chunk of it missing right here, but that's really the biggest amount of damage on the side art. And what's interesting here is if you look really closely, this side art was made by Willis, but that's the original side art. I guess Centuri contracted that out. Yeah, the cabinet's really nice. So yeah, the biggest thing to address is this little corner right here. I'm guessing at some point this corner was maybe dropped or banged or something, and it took a chunk of the side of the cabinet out, so we're going to have to repair that a little bit. And there's a bit of a hairline fracture here too. And so what I'm going to do, and I'm actually going to jump right into this even before we tear into this cabinet, is I want to get some fiberglass Bondo and fill in this chunk. So let me just pull the T-molding out of the way just so we have access. And essentially, right, it goes all the way around the back. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill this in with Bondo. We'll clear out most of the loose pieces of particle board here. We'll fill this in, as you can kind of see, and I'm stretching up here. We'll fill all this in, and the sort of chunk is missing more on the inside. Fill it all in with fiberglass reinforced Bondo, you know, get it nice and smooth. We'll cut a new T-molding slot into the repair part, and then we'll put new T-molding on it. And, you know, it's not going to look perfect. I'm not going to replace the whole side, you know, the the whole wood grain vinyl on the side or laminate or whatever this is, and new side art just for this little chunk. So we'll get this filled in as best we can, and I'll use like a furniture repair pen, like a couple of them, like a light gray and a dark gray. We'll just kind of like color this in, and yeah, it won't be perfect, but it'll be a lot less effort and it'll still look better than what it is now. So kind of to really help minimize the amount of work too, I got a couple of pieces, scrap pieces of plexiglass, and I'm going to clamp these on and sort of create a bit of a form to fill in with the Bondo. So that way I don't have to do a ton of sanding here and really kind of damage or disturb this side art or the laminate. I'm going to clamp this on and then we'll kind of just fill it in. So really the only sanding I'll need to do is sort of on top, or at least that's my plan. So let me get these pieces of plexi clamped on. I'll mix up some fiberglass reinforced Bondo and we'll fill in this missing chunk. Okay, I got my plexiglass form all set up here with a couple of clamps. I used a little strip of wood to help reinforce this wide gap and make it nice and straight. So I think we're ready to go. Again, I'm using the Bondo glass, which is the fiberglass reinforced version of Bondo. Anytime you want to do something somewhat structural, this is a bit better than the normal Bondo. It's a bit stronger. So yeah, let me go ahead and slap this Bondo in here. I always tell myself that I'm gonna do this in smaller batches and multiple passes, but it never seems to end up that way. I make too much, and this really kind of an awkward way to put this stuff in. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna have to make multiple batches with this. And there goes one of my kids who said they were going to watch me do this and now decided not to. All right. Yeah, this is going to need at least one more application. So try to get it seated in there without making any air pockets and without getting too much material where it's not supposed to go, like onto that piece of stabilizing wood. Of course, as I say that, and you can see those fiberglass fibers that help reinforce and make this a stronger material. All right, I'm going to work this a bit more. Maybe I don't need a second application, but I'll get this nice and settled, and we'll let it dry, and I'll clean it up a little bit, and we should be good to go. And welcome back. It's been about 2 months since I've touched this thing. I'm sorry, I've been busy working on other projects like the Ms. Pac-Man over here and the Burger Time over there, and the Frogger that's already in the basement. But yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. So what I did was I did throw a little skim coat of regular Bondo on top of the fiberglass Bondo, and then I sanded it ever so lightly. And I think it's looking pretty good. Actually, on the inside, I got 2 light coats of some black, satin black spray paint, and I'm letting that dry, but I think that looks pretty good. Once that dries, I'll come in and use the wood grain markers and crayons and stuff and sort of, try to blend that in as much as possible. But I think we're going pretty good. I just started taking a look at what's going on in the front of the cabinet. One really just absolutely bizarre thing that I noticed, I was just trying to figure out how to open up the control panel and the bezel and stuff, and this tinted, like lightly smoked plexi bezel was hot glued onto the cabinet. No, I am not kidding you. You can see this bead of hot glue that I can start to peel off. You have to get a X-Acto knife under it or something. It's kind of just crumbling. So there was a bead of hot glue here because I was trying to pull the control panel, and I noticed that it was on top, but is it supposed to be on top? There's I don't understand this because there's a lip here, almost like the bezel is supposed to sit on this, right? But then underneath, and yeah, the cardboard bezel is a bit jacked up. I think it's supposed to sit on this, and then there's a single bolt here that I think goes through this hole. I don't think there's ones on the other sides. It goes right here, and I'm guessing like I'm missing a wing nut or something. But this is, you know, maybe I should go look at my time pilot that's in the basement and take a look at what's going on there. Let me try to very gently slide this cardboard bezel out. I don't even think this thing is supposed to sort of sit under. I think it's supposed to sit on top of the blocking right there. I'm gonna get some, I don't know, tape or something and try to, you know, put that sort of thing back together. Here's a cardboard shroud. And is this glued in too? Is this glue? I'm going to leave that there then if that's glued in. You can see other points up here where the top was glued. This is just nuts to me. Well then how do I pull the monitor out of this thing? Oh my goodness. Maybe I can bend it out of the way like that to get the monitor out of the way. So this monitor is a Wells Gardner K4600. It's got a lot of dust on it. And I know that it works because I saw it working at Jerry's. Let me take a couple minutes here and try to scrape a bunch of this hot glue off, and then maybe I'll go downstairs and take a look at the time pilot and see how the time pilot is put together. All right, I checked my time pilot downstairs, another Centuri cabinet, and I'm not crazy, it's not glued, so let me peel this bead of hot glue off. Oh, there we go. You know, whoops, I missed the trash can. So, yeah, this is not supposed to be here. And this whole thing right here, this metal should be actually exposed, not covered. And it's supposed to be black. So at some point, you know, I'm going to have to mask this off, you know, maybe sand it down a little bit, mask off the control panel, or the control panel overlay, and just spray this with some black paint. And now all of this is crumbling again. There we go. I don't want to scratch the, oh, come on. I don't want to scratch the CPO off. So yeah, at some point, I'll mask off the CPO, which is pretty good. I mean, there's a couple spots where, oh, the camera doesn't even want to pan right now, where there's some, you know, exposed metal right here, but I'd say it's pretty good. It needs to be clean, but I should mask this off, sand this down gently. There's still some with the hot glue, and you know, spray it with some black paint. But the way this is supposed to go on, and I'm going to leave the cardboard bezel off for now, just because it needs to be sort of repaired, is this comes up like this, and this needs to be cleaned too to get some of the glue off. This goes up higher and fits into this slot right here, and this comes over on top, and there's a single you know, bolt here that's missing a wing nut. The only difference with the time pilot is that it's got two of these brackets with wing nuts instead of just one. But okay, so we'll clean off this plexi. And what I want to do with this control panel, sort of come in here, and I've already taken a picture of where all the wires go, so I'm not going to lose it. I want to, you know, this joystick is so floppy. I want to replace the grommet, and these buttons are a little bit dirty, so I'm going to pull them out and clean them. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the wiring. Like I said, I took a picture so I know where everything is supposed to go. And also the wires will kind of sort of, they've got some sort of physical memory. They'll kind of tell me where they want to go. I'm going to pull all this out, pull the joystick out, pull the buttons out, soak the buttons in a solution of simple green and warm water, I don't know, for 30 minutes or so. That'll help scrub them off. And then we'll disassemble this joystick together and take a look at what this grommet looks like. So stay tuned for that. Okay, I've got the 6 buttons disassembled and soaking in my simple green solution, and we can take a look at our joystick here. This is an 8-way, as you can tell by the circular restrictor, an 8-way skinny Wicco. I think it's the tall kind. And yeah, it feels a bit sloppy, so there's a couple things we want to do in addition to cleaning it. So to disassemble it, pretty simple. There's a little E-clip here that I will yank off with some needle nose pliers. And be careful, because this thing will want to go flying. And then it'll pull right out. And we've got our actuator bit here. Looks almost like an old pencil eraser, the capper. Remember that you would put on top of your worn out pencil eraser? So we'll put this off to the side. And look at this. Holy cow. I don't know if this is showing up. This thing is bent. Oh, man. Let me see if I can unbend this real quick. Are you able to see this? How bent this is? Look at that. All right, let me try to unbend this real quick. All right, I was able to bend it back a little bit, but it is still very much not perfect. I got maybe 50% of the bend out, and it's, it's, the thicker part of the shaft is perfectly straight. This part is what's bent, and, if you don't sort of try to get the bend point on where it was bent, you're going to introduce a second bend to it. Anyway, it's as good as I'm going to get it, so we're going to live with this for now. But clearly, somebody was either hanging from this joystick or using it to move the cabinet around. Not good. So we see, and this is very normal, lots of sort of rust on the shaft. And did I chip up the plastic ball a little bit from trying to straighten it out? But we can get all this corrosion off pretty easily. I'm just going to chuck it into my power drill, and I've got a little bit of, this is Scotch-Brite, and I keep using the same sort of patch, and we'll just put it in here, and in no time, this stuff is almost magic. You can see it's almost perfect, almost good as new, just a couple seconds in there, and so that's good. Man, I've never seen a joystick bent that bad before. And we got a little bit of a rusty mess here. Okay, looking at the joystick assembly, we can take this apart. This, of course, is a leaf switch joystick. As indicated by the 4 leaf switches, of course, which are activated by the joystick shaft to indicate the direction of player input. Okay. That just lifts off. We'll put that over here. And I always want to remember the correct order. So this metal washer, a little bit dirty. We'll put it right here. And then here is our old grommet. And this thing is blown to kingdom come. Look at that. We'll put the shaft in here and look how that is totally, totally torn. So that was in like this, okay? And we've got a plastic washer in here and a bunch of debris. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up a little bit. I have a brand new reproduction grommet from Arcade Shop right there. So what I can do to kind of clean this stuff up is dip my old toothbrush in this simple green solution, and we can just scrub the various parts real quick. and wipe them off with our paper towel, and then we'll put this thing back together and it'll be good as new. So I'll go take care of this real quick. All right, back at the cabinet, I've got the joystick reinstalled along with 5 of the 6 buttons. Everything's plugged back in, ready to go. I did straighten out most of the leaf switches with a leaf switch straightener tool. This has little sort of, I don't know what you'd call these, little teeth or something. This doesn't want to zoom. There we go. It's got these little, I don't know what you call them, teeth, or this, metal tool is like split at the end, and you kind of run it along the length of the blade of the leaf switch that you're trying to straighten out. It's got this side is got the same thing. There's a couple of other ones. It's really designed for pinball machines, sold by Marquee, and it's just a leaf switch adjuster. So to straighten them out, it's not perfect, but they look good. I like the gap between the switches. I also cleaned the leaf switches just by taking basically a piece of cardstock and squeezing the 2 contacts together and pulling the card stock through. Business card works, old birthday card from your grandma works great. Like I said, everything's wired back up. I think we're good to go. I referred to my picture to make sure all the wires went to the right spot, and they wanted to go to the right spot because the wires are sort of bent that way. And I did add a couple of washers just below the E-clip on the joystick. To me, that feels better. There's less slop. You can't really pull the joystick up and down as much. That makes it feel like a lot, tighter and not just a sloppy joystick. Who wants that? So I think what we can do is now reassemble our last button. So if you haven't seen me do this before, basically you have, the base of the button and the plunger of the button, and there's a spring, and so I took this all apart and cleaned it. Very simple. The plunger with the spring goes into the housing, the button housing. You squeeze it together, and then a little E-clip, which looks like this. There's a little groove in the base of the plunger. This snaps on. Well, it will try to fly across the room if you're not careful. I did take a couple minutes to find one that I dropped. And there we go. Now our buttons put back together, and we can install this. There's also these little sort of nubs or nibs or whatever, ribs on the side here, and they line up with corresponding sort of slots on the control panel, and I'll just line that up and push the button into place. And there we have our leaf switch holder and our PAL nut, and this just goes like so and screws onto, the PAL nut screws onto the threaded part of the button, and we just tighten this up and it just snugs itself onto the control panel. Here we go, we got a good gap. Everything is right with the world, and then we can come back and reconnect our wires. And these are on quick connects onto the terminals of the leaf switch. And it doesn't really matter which one gets hooked up to which, because leaf switch is very mechanically simple. You're just completing a circuit, so it really doesn't matter which wire goes to which terminal. With a micro switch, however, there is a common or ground lug, and then a normally open and normally closed, because a micro switch can work sort of with both methods. So I think we're good here. Another thing that I noticed is this metal piece actually detaches. So there are these 3 nuts here on these bolts, and when I get around to it, I won't have to mask off the control panel overlay. I can just remove this metal piece entirely, sand it down, remove the rust, and paint it, so we'll be good there. So I think I can grab my replacement wing nut. And I didn't see, I think I will grab a washer actually real quick. Okay, even though the Time Pilot did not have any washers with the wing nut, it feels more correct and more finished to have a washer on. So Let me go twist this wing nut back on to hold the control panel down. Okay, nice and secure. And the next thing I want to turn our attention to is this coin door. So come down here a little bit on the tripod. All right. And the issue that I've got, and oh, by the way, this coin counter reads, oh, actually kind of low, 35,685. So we'll ask Professor Pac-Man to do that math for us. So the issue with this coin door, yeah, there's a little bit of rust on it. I'm not going to worry too much about that. We're not really doing a restoration for this cabinet, just a quick sort of cleanup. But there's more of this, I guess, hot glue around this coin reject button, and I'm very curious to figure out why. Looking at it from the inside, I couldn't see anything particularly troubling. So let me try to get this stuff off real quick. It's kind of funny how this stuff wants to come off, and I'm trying to do this. I'm already scratching things up a little bit. I can't imagine that this was used to hold the, and this is called the coin reject button bezel. If you ever have to find one of these, yep, it is called a bezel. All right. Yeah, this doesn't seem like it's getting loose. Oh, maybe it is. Somebody try to pry this thing open. Yeah, okay. Maybe it's damaged. And their solution to everything is throw some hot glue on it. Okay, very strange. I think, let's see if we're still in frame here. I think there's just a couple bolts that I can loosen up, and this whole mechanism, this whole assembly will come off the face of the cab or of the coin door. So we got one here, and one over here, one over here. Let me loosen these up. Okay, that's off, and I think this whole thing will just kind of rock out. Is there anything else? Yeah, it needs to fall this way and come up a little bit. All right, and I'll just tuck this in here like that. And, oh, okay, I see what's going on. We've got these little screws have come loose. Let me grab a flathead screwdriver and we should be able to fix this. At least I hope, unless it's completely stripped. I'm going to take these off entirely. I'll put this out of the way. Okay, both little flathead screws are out, and this should pop off, except there's more glue underneath it. Look at all that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And yeah, this is one of the plastic ones. Yeah, I can see the reason that they glued this thing on. Look at all this hot glue. Is the little places where it's supposed to thread on. If you can see this on camera on either side here and here, are kind of stripped out and shredded. I'm going to take a quick look in my boxes of parts and see if I can find another one of these. Okay, I got the bezel back on the coin door. Turns out I did not have another spare one of these of the exact right, oh, there's still some hot glue, of the exact right style. At least not loose. I've got a couple of intact complete coin doors, but I'm not going to rip it apart. Next time I place an order with one of the various used part shops, I'll grab one of these. So I've got it secured for now, sort of temporarily. I definitely did not use super glue, so I don't know what you're talking about. Then we can come over here up to the top of the cabinet, and I think I'm going to have to move the tripod for this. We're gonna take a crack at, repairing this wood grain vinyl or laminate or whatever it is. And again, we have our Bondo here. Where is it? I've got my, you've seen this before. This is my little floor and furniture repair kit designed for this sort of thing. We did this with the Frogger on the front of the cabinet to, I would say, poor to middling results, but we're going to try to recreate it. So I got a couple colors of the crayon picked out, and I've got a marker here to do some of the, vertical grain. So I'm going to go lightest to darkest, and we're just going to sort of fill this in. I think I'm supposed to actually melt the crayon, but I can't be bothered to do that. Yeah, that doesn't look great. Maybe I should melt this a little bit. Let me grab a lighter. So I think that's what the instructions say to do, actually, is melt it a little bit. So let's try doing that here. All right, that looks like milk chocolate. Oh, and immediately, let me try scraping this off. Maybe we should start over. I'm just making an absolute train wreck of this. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Yeah, laugh at me all you want. Okay. Ridiculous. All right. Let's melt this a little bit more. What's my wife going to say if she comes out and sees me melting a crayon like this? Whoa. All right, we're almost dripping on the floor. Yeah, and it just wants to instantly sort of dry. So I don't love this. Yeah, that looks like garbage, Charlie. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, there's this cloth I'm supposed to use to sort of buff it out. Oh my God. Yeah, do I dare bring the lighter close to the cabinet? I feel like maybe I should. Don't light it on fire, Charlie. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Okay, well, at least it's moving a little bit. This is ridiculous. Oh, and I just scraped it off. What in the world? All right, I'm okay, I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna go for it. And this, look at this. Look at this. Now this crayon is scraping off everything from the old crayon. Maybe the crayons are just supposed to fill in cracks. Yeah, I probably should have read the instructions again. All right, I'm kind of just done with these crayons. All right, whatever. We're going to do this all with marker. We're going to do this all with marker. Okay, here are the 4 markers that I picked out. What's funny to me is these all say Siso, which is also the brand that's on the box, except for this one right here that says Dual. the registered trademark, and I'm very curious what that means. Maybe it was a mistake at the Chinese generic marker factory, but I'm going to go lightest to darkest here. And this looks terrible. Wow. Wow. This is more red than I thought it would be. All right, let me try to blend that with our cloth that's covered in crayon. Oh my goodness, what a disaster. Does that look better on camera than it does in person? No, it looks even worse. All right, I'm not gonna let that. Yeah, this doesn't even want to stick right. All right, good thing this thing is going in a row, or you're not going to see any of this. It shouldn't be this red, but it is. Yeah, in the dark, never going to notice, right? And this is really just supposed to be the vertical sort of lines in. Yeah, this is disgusting. I think I totally botched it with the crayons. This just looks terrible. It looks even worse on camera. So, yeah, this is not good at all. Now it's rubbing off. Yeah, it looks worse on camera. If you ever come over to my place and you see this thing, I would appreciate it. Let me try this. I would appreciate if you do not point out how terrible this looks. Thank you. Okay, with that disgustingness out of the way, we can turn our attention to something that I expect to go at least a little bit better, and that's the Marquee. So we got our screws, our bracket, our screwdriver, and our Marquee. Now what's interesting to me is, here's the Marquee right here. It's in okay shape. There is some, paint missing from the inside, and it's printed on the inside. And it's dusty too. I never thought the Marquee really matched the rest of the artwork on this cabinet, but maybe that's just me. Squeeze in these on the side, kind of like spacers and guards. Of course, I need to put everything down. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah, really dusty. All right, that looks kind of okay. Oh. All right, and our upper bracket goes on like this. Let's see if I can fish these screws in. Okay, how's that look? Not terrible. All right, starting to look like a game again. Okay, let's see. Looking back down here, there's something cool I want to show you. So, most games, lots of games, they have different locks for like the coin door and the back door, and sometimes there's other locks. This one's obviously missing the coin door lock, but often there's a little hook on the inside of the coin door where an operator would keep like a spare key for the back door. So look around, sometimes the hook's over here, sometimes it's in the middle. In this case, there's a hook behind the coin counter, and we've got an interesting little key right here. We'll come in and take a close look on one side. Not too strange. See if this will focus real quick. All right. So It says Made in USA FS203. But more interesting is what's on the other side. Look at that. That says Centuri USA, or Centuri Inc. Excuse me. And yeah, these keys are pretty cool that Centuri made their own keys or had their own keys made for their cabinets. And I've only ever seen one of these Centuri keys before, and that's in my buddy Mark, who owns Back to the Media Arcade in Winchester, Virginia. He's got one in his Gyrus, also made by Centuri. So let's see. So with these Centuri cabinets, that's what the top looks like. Like I said, I gotta clean this off. I wiped it a little bit, sort of where I know I was gonna spray black paint. So we got a vent, and we have this handle, this hinged handle, which is kind of interesting. And the whole thing is put together with carriage bolts. It's really a strange construction, but it makes it easy to take the thing apart and repair, replace panels if you need to do that. For indoor use only, we have a sticker here. It says model Vanguard, serial number 08758, Centuri Quality Control 1, designed for 110 or 220 AC volts. And then the rest of the back of the cabinet, pretty straightforward. One large back door, and we've got a little cutout for the power cord right there. But let's go and open up the back here. Got a little hung up, but nothing at all on the inside of the back door. No instruction sheet or anything like that. Take you off the tripod. We'll come in here for a bit of a closer look. Here is our, it says right there, 19K4675, so Wells Gardner K4600. And I don't think this thing has ever been worked on. And there's even a little, so, 4600s are easy to recognize if they don't have the sticker. There are these vertical daughter cards. You've seen this in the Frogger, right? These vertical daughter cards, there's two of them here, and there's another one sort of mounted on this heatsink over here that plug into the main chassis PCB. And there's also a remotely mounted flyback over here and a remotely mounted horizontal width coil right here, which is super fragile. And so you've got this kind of plastic bracket thing, or retainer that holds those daughter cards in place. And this one, if you can see it right here, whoa, has a little, oh, that's not what I thought it was. Let me see if I can fish that out real quick. What I was trying to say was, I couldn't see any signs that this chassis had ever been worked on. And as evidence, I was going to point to a zip tie sort of holding this retainer bracket in place. But this is that zip tie, and it's fallen off. So maybe this thing has been worked on. So there's our monitor, nothing too crazy there. You see the backside with the, this retains the bezel. We've got our speaker, the backside of our Marquee and Marquee light. Coming down here, we have our, what is this? Let's see. Ooh, we got a little nest here, don't we? Well, we've got our line filter. We've got our interlock switch. We've got some cabinet fuses, including one that's been jumpered, but it looks like a factory job. And this, I'm assuming by the black and the white, that the black is the hot line and the white is the neutral. So you really don't, need to, fuse the neutral line. Let me come in here and remove our little hitchhiker. Whatever this is, some sort of bug nest or bug egg sac or cocoon or whatever it is. That's always fun to find that sort of thing. Otherwise, this cabinet is relatively clean. We'll put the fish paper back into place. All right, coming down here, we have our original switching power supply. So this is what Centuri used. They did not use linear power supplies. They used sort of an early switching power supply that I believe only puts out maybe I'm wrong. Is it only +5 and -5? All of the labels are sort of covered up. Is there another bug exec in here? Hang on. This, of course, this cabinet is unplugged and powered off, so let's see. Is there something else in here? Something like a cobweb. I don't know. Inputs sort of upside down. Inputs at the top. Oh, looks like there's a 12 volt. So I'm guessing 12 +5 and -5, and it's adjustable. And then coming down here, this is our PCB stack. It's a 3-board stack, 2 full-size boards and a smaller board. I think the smaller board is for speech, and there is this wire that comes off of the harness and brings, I believe this is -5 volts to this little board right here, and it's pointing to something for a volume control. Let me get my flashlight and check that out real quick. Okay, I see what's going on. Even though the volume sticker with that arrow is on the smaller board, the volume pot is that white pot hiding behind the caps on the larger board underneath. So right in here is that white pot for the volume. And I don't know if that's overall volume or maybe just volume for speech, because yeah, this Vanguard has speech, sort of interesting. We've got our main power cord and our big old isolation transformer at the bottom of the cabinet. We've also got a manual here in an envelope, which would have been originally mounted up here on the wall. You can see some remnants from that envelope. It says Centuri Inc. Vanguard 008758. And yeah, I'm guessing this envelope would have been mounted here originally. And unfortunately, this is not, I already looked at it, spoiled the surprise. This is not the game instructions or the game manual. This is just a monitor manual for the 4600 series. So Wells Gardner monitor manual. We'll tuck this back in here. One thing I do want to take care of, and again, you can sort of see how this cabinet is put together. Jeff Kinder's done some cool videos where he's repaired Centuri cabinets, and a lot of them, they have these sort of, angle iron pieces and then carriage bolts that hold it all together. And there's also quite a bit of blocking, and very, very commonly the blocking on the bottom panel, the base of the cabinet, comes loose. And so we have a piece of blocking right here that's come, off. So I'm gonna go power up the air compressor, and I'll nail this piece of blocking back into the cabinet. Okay, I've got that loose piece of blocking securely stapled back into place. And also, while you weren't looking, while you weren't paying attention, I went ahead and replaced the T-molding. The side on the left, I had already removed when I repaired the damage to the cabinet, and the side on the right needed to be replaced. I couldn't have it not match. So here we go, and I think we are ready to power this up and see what we get. So everything's plugged in, ready to go. I'm noticing right now there's a tiny gap that the T-molding isn't covering up. I got regular 3/4 inch T-molding, and the T-molding that was on the cabinet actually felt a little bit wide. It felt like it stuck out beyond the side, so maybe Centuri used slightly wider T-molding, but I'll just get a Sharpie and cover up this bare spot. So here we go, turning it on. Where's the power switch? There we go. 3, 2, 1. I hear HV. I heard a little sound effect from the game, and there we go. We have Vanguard playing on the screen. We turn off the house lights. Get a better look at what's going on. Here we go. Monitor looks like it could stand to be adjusted a little bit, but it's definitely playable. So let me pull you in here. Let's see, it looks a little red. there's a little bit of a geometry, you know, curve to it that I could probably adjust out, but definitely playable. So let's see how we're looking on the screen here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Again, it's maybe a little bit of red overdriven. I can adjust that out. And there's a bit of a, well, now you can't see it. There's a bit of a curve down here at the bottom that maybe I can adjust out. This thing needs a cap kit, I'm sure, but definitely playable, nice and bright, you know. Focus is good. You know, 4600s, man, these things are great. So let's play a little bit of Vanguard. You know, this is kind of a couple interesting things here with this game. It's not just, as you can see here, not just a side-scrolling shooter. It also has some stages where you're going diagonally. The high score is called the Golden 7 Club for some reason. Some stages where you're going diagonally, some stages you're going vertically. I don't think there's any where you're going from right to left. Let's see, 8-way joystick, so you can move in 8 directions, and then you can shoot in 4 directions, and there is 4 buttons, you know, in a diamond pattern. So as you can see here, you can shoot up, down, left, or right. There's like an energy power-up right there, so if you get that, you basically, it's almost like the superstar in Super Mario Brothers, where you're, you know, flashing and you are invincible for a bit, and you can just crash into enemies. You actually can't shoot while you have that power-up. You can go through walls when you have that power-up, no problem. Yeah, this game does have some speech, so keep your ears open and you'll hear it talk about, it'll announce the next level. When your power-up is wearing off, it'll say, be careful. It sounds like a robot voice. It also has some, you know, interesting, let's say, inspiration for the music. One of the first sort of musical jingles that you'll hear is actually from Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and that song was later used in Star Trek: The Next Generation. You'll sort of hear it, and then I think one of the other sounds, maybe when you have the power-up, is actually from, I think, a Flash Gordon movie. So, you know, even though this was released and distributed by Centuri in the US, the game was actually developed by SNK. So, why don't we coin up and play a little bit. The game also has a continue feature. There's a credit. The game also has a continue feature, so if I die all my lives, we can coin up and keep going. And there's a loop. You know, you get to the end, you kill the boss, and it just loops through even harder. So here we go. Here you go. There, you heard it said Bon Voyage, and then it played the Star Trek theme for a little bit. We'll even go through the walls here, crashing into enemies. And the game seems a little bit slow on your first time through. And then once you sort of, there it said be careful. Hopefully you can hear the speech. We can shoot in all 4 directions. Yeah, there we go, another power up. We just crash into everybody. I don't think you get points for going through the walls, but once you know, sort of loop through and get to, here we go, get through the next time through, it's much faster. The enemies are faster, you're moving faster, it's scrolling faster.
Rainbow zone.
Just announced we're about to enter the rainbow zone, which is this, with these enemies that move bizarrely.
Be careful.
You gotta concentrate. I'm awkwardly standing here so that you guys can see and I'm not in front of the camera. And it makes it weird because, like, I'm not centered over the buttons, so it's like, ooh, got hit. It's hard for me to sort of feel where the right button is. Okay, now we're going into the stick zone, accurately named. And I think with this one, the enemy's missiles can stop your shot, but it doesn't stop their shot. Which seems a bit unfair. All right. Ooh, got me. Are we on our last ship? I think you get new ships or bonus ships at 10,000 and 50,000, I think, something like that. Okay. Come on.
Stick zone.
We're already in the stick zone. New enemy type. This one looks like a Federation. Oh, got me. Like a Federation ship. Oh, the end? You think so? We're going to continue. There we go. All right. Come on. Oh my goodness. I am not paying attention. I was looking at the camera. Make sure we are still in frame.
Rainbow zone.
All right, rainbow zone again. This is where they really messed me up. Oh, great. I was hoping that I could make it through to at least show you the boss and then what the second loop through looks like.
Rainbow zone.
Okay. Oh, man. The end, let me credit up again. All right. Yeah. So I've done this before. I did it at Jerry's, I think, made it through. Okay. Stripe zone. This is sort of an interesting one. There's like traps here.
Attack.
There we go. Nice 800 points. Can't blow that up for some reason.
Careful. Stripe zone.
Stripe zone. Okay. There we go. Racking up the points.
Rainbow zone.
That one's frozen for some reason. Okay. More of these guys.
Rainbow zone.
That was a short zone. Oh, got me. Got me.
Bleach zone.
All right, now we're going vertical, and we got the sort of snakes from the side of the cabinet. Music's different. Okay.
Bleach zone.
Okay. These are just stationary. These ones almost look like Cardassian ships. I guess some of them aren't stationary. Last zone, it says. There's the boss, and it got me.
Good.
And now you start all over again, even though I didn't kill the boss. That always happens to me. And you can see it's so much faster now, which to me is actually more fun. Okay, killing a bunch of guys here. More power up, there we go. Racking up the points. Uh-oh. Okay. There we go. Press the attack. Or is that what he said? Let's attack? Something like that. Come on. They're trying to get away from me. They know I can crash into them. There we go. Just barely caught that one. Come on.
Stripe zone.
Stripe zone.
Careful. Let's attack.
Let's attack. Oh. The end. All right, well, now let's put our name in, or our initials. There we go. We are part of the Golden 7 Club now. So yeah, that is Vanguard. Cool game. Historically interesting game. Really appreciate Overtime Arcade channel member Jerry for hooking me up with a great trade here. Jerry is an awesome guy, huge supporter of the channel, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, if you'd like to become an Overtime Arcade channel member like Jerry, and I'm noticing that the coin door lights are out. I'm gonna have to replace those. If you want to become a channel member like Jerry, well, I've got news for you. All you need to do is click that join button down below to learn more about what it means to become an Overtime Arcade channel member. Basically, you donate $1.99 a month to the channel, and in exchange, you get to support your favorite arcade YouTube channel, and you get access to some awesome perks. We have a monthly members-only live stream, and the one for November will be coming up before we know it. You get early access to all new videos. Typically, a day in advance. I try to release my videos on Sundays. Sometimes they slip to Mondays. Channel members get at least about 24 hours of early access viewing, sometimes much more. It's Wednesday right now. Most of this video is already edited and ready to go, so this video probably is going to get released for channel member early access late Wednesday or early Thursday. So, and also you get access to our private members only Discord. Look at this side art, really cool. And there's a snake that you see in the vertical stage. And that Discord is probably, I'm willing to say it, the best little arcade community on the internet. A lot of great folks, really positive. We're having a lot of fun, you know, talking about what we're playing, collecting, working on. We're trading deals, we're hooking each other up. It's great. So yeah, click that join button down below to learn more about that. We've got a merchandise shop where you can buy hats and t-shirts and hoodies and mugs and stickers and all kinds of good stuff. There's a link down below for that. You can always leave a super thanks, which is kind of like a super chat one-time donation. It's like a super chat, but for a pre-recorded video, not for a live stream. And yeah, you know, do all the things that the YouTube algorithm wants you to do: like, share, comment, subscribe. You ever play Vanguard? Any of the ports? Are any of the ports good? I think I might have played this on the 2600, but yeah. Anyway, I think that'll do it. As always, I've been Charlie. Thanks for watching Overtime Arcade, and we'll see you next time.
Overtime!